Welcome to episode 2 of From the Pad. In this episode, we're specifically going to talk about the palms down playing position. If you haven't seen episode 1, I encourage you to go back and watch that as I briefly went over some of these topics there. So let's get into it. What are the pros and cons of the palms down position? So the palms down position is not good for fine motor control. So in other words, if you want very, very fine, very light strokes, the palms down position may not be the best position. What it offers us, though, is an ease of getting around the drum kit, a very natural way of playing with great rebound, very good sound from the kit as we allow the drums to resonate very fully because of the way that we're striking them. And it allows a lot of speed, okay? The only place that we're going to have a hard time with this getting around the drum kit is if you're coming around to a floor tom, it may be difficult, or maybe if you play a secondary snare drum, but it can still be done. Now, this is the home base position. I teach this to all of my students as their first grip, and I think you should learn it too, because it is the most versatile grip of all the grips out there. Even if you're currently playing French grip, I encourage you to go back and look at this. So let's get started here. As I spoke in episode 1, our fulcrum is actually at the second finger, not the first finger, because we want this space here. We want that to stay open with all of our strokes. And if we pull our fulcrum up to the index finger, which is the way most guys that play this position play, it's very easy to close this. And when we close, we get tension. I did mention that in episode 1. I hope you caught that there. So fulcrum is here in the second finger, okay? It's right at the first, in between the first and second knuckle of the second finger with the thumb, and that first finger is just a guide. We want to throw that stick down. We want to allow that stick to come bouncing straight back up, okay? I also mentioned in episode 1 that at the top of this position, you want to leave your hand open. That's going to become very important later on when I teach you how to do a proper double stroke roll. As we speed up, that will close up. Okay, it's very easy to get a backbeat with this as well. Even if you don't do molar, or maybe you don't know what molar is yet, it's very easy to get a backbeat with this. Okay? We want to throw that stick down as hard as we can. Do not inhibit the rebound. So I don't want to see this. You want that stick to come all the way back. As I explained in episode 1, it's like bouncing a basketball. You throw the basketball down, allow the rebound to take place, and you just meet it to throw it down again. The stick is no different. Okay, I'm only doing half the work. I am not doing this. I am not throwing it down and lifting it up. Now on a pad, it's kind of hard to tell. On a drum, you can hear the difference between an up-down stroke versus just a rebound stroke. Okay? So let's take a look at that again. So as I mentioned in episode 1, what we want to do as our first exercise is just a simple right, left, right, left. Throwing that stick down as hard as we can, allowing the stick to fully rebound. Eventually, we'll build some speed. Now, to gain speed, once you're comfortable with this, we don't allow the stick to fully rebound. We need to start to control how much rebound we're giving it. Again, going back to my basketball analogy, you can dribble that ball closer to the ground, which allows for a faster bounce. This is exactly the same. Instead of allowing that stick to come all the way up, we stop the rebound as we're throwing it down. Now, as I promised in episode 1, some of my favorite exercises to actually develop this. Okay, number 1, George Lawrence Stone's stick control. Page 5, I don't want you doing the whole page. If you don't know how to do a proper double stroke roll, you're just gonna end up doing the work twice, okay? Right now, you can work on exercises number 1 and number 2, which are just single stroke roll, one leading with the right, the other leading with the left. The other ones that work really well are going to be exercises 9 to 13. Now, these are the exercises where you have 3 notes playing per hand. So maybe right, left, 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 or right, 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 left. And then exercise 13 is right, 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 left, 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 left. Now, this is going to allow you to put multiple strokes in a row to start to build some endurance and some speed. So here's an example of number 13. Now, my absolute favorite exercise is from Joe Morello's book, Master Studies. And it is actually a George Lawrence Stone exercise written by Joe Morello, and it's called the Stone Killers. And I generally do these as 8th notes. So basically you go playing 2 notes per hand 20 times, 4 notes per hand 20 times, 6 notes per hand 20 times, 8 notes per hand 20 times. Now I'll just do that with a couple times through each one just so you can see the flow of it. Do this with a metronome. Obviously, I'm not going to do that here, but do this with a metronome. That way you can chart your progress so that you can see how much speed you're building over time, because it's going to be baby steps, right? You might be building 2 beats per minute a day, which doesn't sound like much, but if you can do that in the course of a month, you can increase the exercise by 60 beats a minute, which is huge, right? So here it is, just at a moderate tempo. So those are the basic exercises that I have used to build speed. It really, there's no rocket science behind this. It's just repetition and trying to push the tempo, but not past the point to where you feel tension. If you feel tension, you need to stop. You need to understand the difference between muscle burn and tension, because they're very different things. Muscle burn is fine, but actually feeling tension, when you feel things starting to tighten up, you need to stop, because you're not getting faster. Even if you push through, you're doing more harm than good. Trust me, you need to do this at a slower tempo and relax, and the speed builds fast, okay? Next week, we're going to take a look at the French grip, pros and cons, and again, exercises that I use to build that French grip. And the reason why you should learn French grip, even if you only play palms down. Until next time, keep drumming.